now at 11.
It's scary. It's really scary.
The power of nature on full display. Solid proof to heed the advice not to drive through standing water.
Plus, stranded. With water rising and nowhere to go, rescue crews are some people's only hope.
A wild weather day from one part of our region to another. Now, what lies ahead? Our meteorologists have your weekend forecast. News Channel 3 at 11 starts now.
Good evening. I'm Tim here in Huntington.
And I'm Brittany Hoke in Charleston, in for Amanda Barron tonight. Well, after hours of thunder, lightning, strong winds, the storms have died down, but the rescue missions are ongoing tonight.
And today it has just been a day filled with weather all across the region that has a lot of people talking. Things from flash flooding, tornado warnings. All because of this, the governor has now declared 44 different counties in West Virginia under a state of emergency. There have been over 50 instances of water rescues, and that's only in Kanawha County. One toddler is missing after being swept away by rising water in Jackson County, and one person was found dead in the Jordans Creek area. We're going to go now to Josh and Tony, who are in the Weather Center, with a look at, thankfully, the fact that this is behind us, but there is so much to talk about what's happened over the last 24 hours.
So the risk of high winds and tornadoes has ended. Josh has been in here since this morning. You've been through tornado watches, a handful of warnings, no touchdowns, and also 6 lines of storms passing through and myriad flood warnings.
It's amazing the scope and severity of this latest flash flood event. Thankfully, the tornado risk is over, but the lingering effects of the high water continue overnight tonight.
Let's talk about that with the maps, Josh, and tell me what you see there.
Up to 25 counties under some kind of flood or flash flood warning. This continues for the next few hours, especially over the tri-state and the Kanawha Valley. The hardest hit area, of course, has been Clendenin in northeastern Kanawha County, where a flash flood emergency continues. That is for life-threatening types of flooding, and that's really been the target area in central West Virginia, and also into Nicholas County. Near Richwood, we've had an issue with high water tonight.
And now the rain on Doppler radar are moving away, and as they do, it's simply runoff that we have to worry about. But Josh, you got some great pictures into your Instagram and Twitter feeds.
There we go. Richwood, yeah, thanks to Jeremy for that snapshot showing downtown Richwood being impacted heavily by the flash flooding. And this morning, just after 4:30 this morning, there was a possible tornado in southwestern Calhoun County in the Stinson area. You can see the tops of the trees just mowed off. Look at that. You can see the home in the valley not touched, but the treetops just ripped off. And the National Weather Service will do a survey in the coming days to see if in fact that was indeed a tornado.
Reminds me of Wayne County, West Virginia, across from Lawrence County after the 2012 tornado that passed. Tomorrow, brighter skies after a gray and foggy start. Nothing more than a passing shower expected in the afternoon, partly cloudy skies, and a late day temperature of 85 degrees. Weekend forecast does indicate heat and humidity. We'll talk more about that when I come back on News Channel 3 at 11, guys.
All right, thanks, Tony. Rescue teams in Ravenswood have spent the day searching for a 4-year-old boy lost in the water.
Law enforcement believes that he was swept up in flash flooding. News Channel 3's Nathan Takich is live in Ravenswood, where some final boats are coming off the water for the night. Nathan.
Well, Brittany, it's been a long day on and around the Ohio River, and these waters actually much louder and moving much faster earlier in the day during all those storms. But many neighbors and law enforcement officers say the longest part of the day was searching these waters for a 4-year-old boy. That search is now over, at least for the night. Rescue teams fought through several storms. They looked for about 4 or 5 hours this afternoon and evening before calling it quits due to darkness. We've seen plenty of community support in this search as well. Neighbors helping, searching in banks and in woods. However, the family of the boy says that it's really been just a whirlwind day that started in the blink of an eye.
I didn't see it, but from what I understand, they were just, at the water's edge playing, and one moment the water just grabbed him and took him.
Well, several moments later, around 10 p.m. tonight, a couple dozen community members came together here and actually came together for a candlelight vigil. But the family of the child says they are still praying tonight. They're not mourning yet. Law enforcement actually agrees they're going to be back here again tomorrow morning to continue the search on both land and water.
All right, Nathan, thank you. And we will keep you updated on when that search for the toddler resumes here on WSAZ and WSAZ.com.
As we said, it may not be raining right now in Kanawha County, but the waters in some areas continue to rise.
Yeah, and we now know that it's turned fatal tonight as 911 dispatchers confirm that one elderly man is dead. News Channel 3's Jatera McGee joins us live now from Kanawha County with more.
Yeah, and we've been working to find out more details about this man's death. We're told he was an elderly man that died in this flooding in the Jordans Creek area, but we're stopped by scenes like this one off of exit 9. Emergency crews blocking the road because of high water. We've been trying to get to the Jordans Creek area really for most of the evening and most of the night, and unsuccessfully, I must say, because of how high the water has been in certain areas. But I've been talking to people at the gas station that have been driving down. I'm trying to find out how their family members are doing that are back in these hollows, and they've all been saying that there's so much devastation and parts of the roads that have given way that they're having a hard time getting there. We did talk to one man earlier today who was actually looking for some of his neighbors himself. Here's what he had to say.
There's people up the hollow that we can't find right now. Just found out about that we can't find right now, and it's mostly 2 to 3 places up this hollow.
This is a scene that's just gotten scarier as the hours unfold. We're hearing reports of people being trapped and not being able to get where they are, and so many people are just concerned about their family members tonight, how they're going to make it through the night. I was talking to one gentleman who said his mom was on the 2nd floor of her home. The bottom floor is covered in water all the way up to the ceiling, and they're just trying to figure out how to get to her because the boats are getting trapped. There is so much debris, they're not even able to get to all of these homes. Guys, we're going to keep an eye on this situation, keep monitoring it. Back to you.
All right, Jatera, it's going to be a long night for a lot of families there, that's for sure. We'll check back.
West Virginia's Governor Earl Ray Tomblin has declared a state of emergency for 44 of the 55 counties in West Virginia. This excludes 11 counties in the northern and eastern panhandles. A state of emergency gives counties access to state resources for response efforts. West Virginians who live in counties covered under the state of emergency can call their county emergency management agency for assistance or information.
Well, Metro 911 in Kanawha County has received over 2,000 calls this evening, and most of them tonight came from the area of Clendenin in Kanawha County.
News Channel 3's Andrew Colgrove joins us now live from where more than 50 water rescues were active at one point tonight. Andrew.
That's right, Tim. Right now, families are either stranded at their homes and can't get out, or relatives who are trying to get home, coming home from work perhaps, were unable to get to those homes because of the high water, because the roads were impassable. This is a look at Route 119 right off the Clendenin exit of I-79. Earlier this afternoon, there was a park and ride there where the cars were nearly completely submerged. As you mentioned, that semi-truck was completely pushed onto its side. That's where water rescue crews were called to the scene. Relatives there were saying that they were not able to get any word from their family members who were at home, so they were obviously very concerned. They called the rescue teams. They said, however, the water was too dangerous at that point to get their boats onto the water there, so they opted to kind of walk along wherever they could, and if they could see folks that were perhaps stranded on the side of the road, they actually walked down there and tried to help bring them up to higher ground. As for now, it's just a waiting game. I talked to one guy just a few minutes ago who says at this point he's just got to wait till the water gets down before he can make it home.
I had to do the same thing in '98, just be patient. So, you know, there's nothing you can do, you just have to wait it out. I mean, I'm in no hurry, I'm not going anywhere, so it's just the way it is.
I talked to a firefighter a little bit ago who says the water here at Frame Road behind me is starting to recede, but at this point it's still impassable. So at this point, some folks have told me that they're opting to just call it a night and stay somewhere else and hopefully make it home tomorrow morning. Back to you.
All right, thanks, Andrew. Kanawha County officials are urging all residents to stay off the roads due to the widespread flooding throughout the county. In fact, there's a long list of road closures. We'll have those posted for you on WSAZ Mobile and WSAZ.com.
Well, Well, several mudslides affected drivers along the interstate tonight. This is a picture the Department of Transportation posted on Twitter of I-79 right near mile marker 23. That's near the Amma area. As you can see here, a semi-truck just completely stuck in the mud. That slide caused traffic backups all along 79, though, south and northbound. Some cars were able to make it through, but many were stuck waiting for crews to clear the way out.
Now here's a look into Nicholas and Greenbrier counties, where some areas were inaccessible because of damage to roads. This is a video, unbelievable video, of a house that is actually floating downriver. The house is on fire, as you can see, smashing right into the bridge. People could not believe what they were seeing. And in fact, they saw 6 to 8 inches of rain at one point in just a matter of hours. And that burning house was only one issue. Officials say that houses were washed off their foundations in Greenbrier County. Dozens of people trapped in their vehicles from all that high rushing water. Residents in the Richwood area of Nicholas County had to deal with that fast-moving water this afternoon. The video is from Kelly Hughes. It's a look at Oakford Avenue, right downtown. She captured this before she managed to get across the street herself. Probably not an easy proposal. On her way home earlier today, the National Weather Service says the dam at Summit Lake was not breached. They tell us, though, that all the flooding happened as water seeped out over the top of the dam. And if you know that area, Summit Lake is up on top of the hill in between Richwood and the Cranberry Visitor Center. Richwood's mayor tells us much of the water has receded, but many basements and yards in Nicholas County, and especially the Richwood area, are in bad shape, very flooded tonight.
Yeah, many people in our region tonight still without power, and it looks like it could be a little bit longer, maybe even until tomorrow night, if they remain that way. According to AEP, there are about 37,000 customers in West Virginia without power. The majority of those outages are in Kanawha County, more than 9,000 without electricity there right now. An AEP spokesperson tells us that with all of those outages today, they've now pushed restoration estimates back to Friday night for most of the West Virginia service area.
Folks in Elkview and surrounding areas are able to get some help tonight. Shelters have already opened in several parts of the region for those without power, unable to even access their homes due to the flooding. We stopped by the shelter that the Red Cross had opened at Elkview Middle School for anyone needing any assistance and even just a place to sleep.
We'll be interviewing people to see if they will need additional assistance, additional casework, in which case that'll happen tomorrow.
Red Cross officials say they were expecting anywhere between maybe 30 to 50 people to use those services tonight. With all the damage and the severe weather, 911 a busy place to work today, as you might imagine. We checked in with the 911 center in Cabell County to see how they can handle situations like this. According to a dispatcher, he said during his shift, they had anywhere between 50 to 100 calls. He says that it's stressful to have to go from one call to the next, to the next, to the next, but it's what they have to do to just get through these situations.
We've been inundated a couple of different times with the call volume. That's just stresses our staff a couple of different times, but it's just something we have to work through.
The interstate was a big problem for 911, answering a lot of calls from the highway when it comes to accidents, but in these situations, they say that is usually the case. Stay with us. We will have more severe weather coverage coming up in all morning long, starting at 4:30. We'll have the latest forecasts, the damage reports, and the traffic info. And of course, you can get all the latest on WSAZ Mobile and WSAZ.com. And still to come on this newscast, severe weather hit all across our area, but it got a little twisty in the Midwest.
And our tornado threat has long since expired. Now we just have some leftover high water. Take a look at our downtown Charleston weather cam, where fog will be an issue tomorrow morning. Still the chance of a ground dampening shower overnight. My latest forecast when I come back on News Channel 3 at 11.
All right, Chief Meteorologist Tony Cavalier in once again. It's been a long day for a lot of folks out there in the field, and a lot of the workers, too, out trying to help people.
And, Tim, what happens so often in our area, the high wind and tornado threat gets trumped by the high water threat. across our region. So let's take you to our maps. And again, there's a 24-county, 3-state area under some type of a flood advisory, mostly in Ohio and West Virginia, under some type of high water alert, whether it be small streams out of their banks or more specifically the Elk River up toward Clendenin. A major flood going on right now, so the tributaries are having a hard time flushing their water into the Elk. And so we've got backwater, we've got high water in the Clendenin and the Northern Kanawha and parts of Braxton County area. Specifically, go up to Clay. You're talking about 29.3 feet right now, latest from the National Weather Service. Flood stage is 18 feet, so the river is 11 feet out of its banks. The crest is coming on after midnight, so not too far from where it is right now. Downstream toward Queen Charles in Kanawha County, the Elk at 10 o'clock was 27.1, 8 feet above flood stage. Again, the predicted crest after midnight, probably not too much higher than it is right now. On the Pocatalico, we've had a lot of calls. Flood stage is 30. The river's still rising at 24.8 feet, but figures to stay below flood stage. But there are streams trying to flow into the Pocatalico that are backing up. Again, the predicted crest after midnight. Once you hit crest, you level off for a few hours, then you head south. That is, you head down in water levels. Monitor water levels along these small streams if you're concerned, but these small streams should be receding at the expense of rivers like the Elk rising, right? Tomorrow, those small rivers like the Elk will fall as they flush their water, for example, first into the Great Kanawha, and eventually all the water's heading into the mighty Ohio. So the Kanawha and the Ohio are probably off limits for pleasure boating heading into the upcoming weekend. And of course, avoid any flooded roads at night. When visibility's poor, especially on a night when fog is setting in. By dawn, we're settling to 70. Tomorrow, safe for a sprinkle or a light shower. It looks like we go partly cloudy midday. There may be a half-hour shower trying to interrupt our outdoor activities tomorrow, but that's all. A late-day high of 85 as the creeks settle and begin to fall with brighter skies. The southerlies keeping the warm and humid air at 90% humidity, and temperatures are right around the 70-degree mark, only fall another degree or two. As they fall, the fog will settle in overnight. But there go the rains down away from our area. Still some good rains in the Danube National Forest to our west. The last of the good rains has now exited Pike County, Kentucky, and Mingo County, West Virginia, and that's leaving behind drier weather into our area. And that means we'll have some fog that will settle in during the overnight hours. But as those rains move away, look what's coming in. Drier air in time for tomorrow and the weekend. So your forecast for the overnight hours, still a chance of a passing shower, but warm and muggy with fog pre-dawn, 65 to 70. A tropical sky means towering clouds amidst periods of sunshine tomorrow. Hot and sticky enough for a scattered half-hour shower at 85 degrees. Weekend forecast, live on the levee, we've got the Rudy Fest over in Grayson County. That's the Bluegrass Festival and Festival. Daytime highs will be in the upper 80s to around 90 degrees, with overnight lows in the drying 60s this upcoming weekend of summertime, Tim.
All right, thanks, Tony. Still ahead, in the midst of all this weather, police are looking for 2 people involved in an armed robbery today. Nitro Police and Kanawha County deputies are searching for 2 men who are suspects in an armed robbery at a tanning salon.
Yeah, this happened at Electric Beach in Nitro about 2:30 p.m. Deputies say that these 2 men went in and one brandished a handgun as they robbed the store. Surveillance pictures show the men leaving in a black, newer model Ford Edge. Anyone with information on the identity of these men is asked to contact Nitro Police. Severe weather also hit the Midwest today, too. Residents are surveying the damage after a tornado touched down in central Illinois. The National Weather Service confirmed an EF2 tornado touchdown there. They say winds peaked between 115 and 125 miles per hour, and hail pounded homes. You can see trees and power lines pulled from the ground, roofs ripped from buildings. Even a gas station pump was just turned over. Officials say at least 4 homes were destroyed and 4 people were hurt, but suffered minor injuries. The National Weather Service says that this was one of 7 tornadoes that tore through northern Illinois. Well, as we mentioned earlier, water rescues is still underway tonight in our region. There have been over 50, I should say, in Kanawha County alone, most of those in one of the hardest hit areas, which is Clendenin.
Right. People have been asked to seek higher ground and to avoid the roads altogether in that particular area. Andrew Coldrove joins us live once again.
Well, Tim, we'll get a better idea tomorrow about the scope of the devastation here in northern Kanawha County. We're hearing reports of more than 20 homes that have been completely destroyed by this high water tonight, and upwards of around 50 that have suffered serious damage. As for these water rescues, fire crews tell us it's really been an uphill battle tonight because of the high water. It's been very difficult just to get to some of these places that they've been called to. We talked with one firefighter with the Pinch Fire Department who says they have to prioritize whenever they hear of an emergency of somebody that might be in danger. They try their best to get there with their emergency boats, but it's been very tricky with so many of the roads being covered. It's just not many options to get to places they need to go to.
We're going strictly off of what we're being told by Metro 911. If Metro is advising us of any life-threatening or life-endangering, then we're going directly to them first. Right now, we're just having a problem because everything's impassable. Buffalo Road's impassable, Spencer Road, 119, everything is impassable.
Now, the good news tonight is I just talked to a firefighter here at Frame Road in Elkview. They say that the road the water on the road has started to recede, so now it's just a matter of time of waiting it out until they are able to get through with their vehicles as well. Back to you.
Okay, Andrew, thanks. And due to the widespread flooding throughout the county, there's a long list of road closures, and in fact, it's so long we can't even get into it now. We posted on WSAZ.com and WSAZ Mobile for you to check out.
And I'm Keith Morehouse. 3 Kentucky Wildcats go in the NBA draft. And the Greenbrier Classic starts in 2 weeks. Lucky it's not today. Sports is next.
With the first pick in the 2016 NBA draft, the Philadelphia 76ers select Ben Simmons from Melbourne, Australia.
And good evening, I'm Keith Morehouse with that. The NBA draft underway. Ben Simmons from LSU expected to make an immediate impact in the NBA. Now, Kentucky, of course, played against Simmons as he played for LSU, and the Cats expected a big night at the draft. It all started at the 7th spot when UK sharpshooter Jamal Murray was picked by the Denver Nuggets. Murray made the second most three-pointers for a freshman in NCAA history, only behind a guy named Steph Curry, and his stock climbed all year long. He's confident in his game translating to the next level.
Spreads the court, coming off screens, playing positionless basketball, being able to play the 1, the 2, guard bigger defender or guard bigger players, and hold my own. Obviously rebounding, kind of play up-tempo pace, and just get used to it. I can adjust in the half court or in the full court.
Now, the wait was considerably longer for UK big man Skal Labissiere, who waited a long time in the green room. He didn't have a spectacular year at Kentucky, but the thought was he would be a first-rounder. That's a guaranteed contract, and he was selected 28th by the Sacramento Kings, who got the pick from the Suns. Also, UK guard Tyler Ulis going in the 2nd round, and the 5'9" guard, a superstar at UK, but he was drafted by the Phoenix Suns as the 34th overall pick just a few moments ago. PGA Greenbrier Classic begins in exactly 2 weeks at the old White TPC course in White Sulphur Springs. Greenbrier County, though, with far more concerns tonight. This is a look at the finishing hole, the par 3 18th, and then Bubba Watson, this is his video. He pans over to the iconic #1 hole at the Greenbrier, and look at that, completely inundated by the raging waters of Howard's Creek. #1 has an elevated tee, so Watson shot some video, and then he was able to keep a sense of humor about this as he tweeted, hope the Greenbrier dries out soon. First hole tee shot, not so easy right now. So a lot of work to do, and of course a lot of people to think about as they're going through these floodwater situations. Football now. He once famously committed to play for USC when he was in the 7th grade. Now West Virginia quarterback David Sills leaving Morgantown in search of playing time at quarterback someplace else. He came to West Virginia as a highly regarded QB, but Skylar Howard's a starter. He couldn't find much time behind center, so the Mountaineers turned him into a wideout where he had 7 catches, 2 touchdowns, and the winning grab in that Cactus Bowl win. Here's what Dana Holgerson said about his departure, quote, "We appreciate everything David has done for the Mountaineer football program. He has done everything asked of him, and he has been a great teammate. He has decided to transfer to pursue his dream of playing quarterback in college. We wish him nothing but the best in all his future endeavors on and off the field." Also, the Pirates and the Reds, losers today. We'll have a wrap on the news and the weather after this.
Okay, say a prayer for our friends in Nicholas County on the Gauley and on the Elk River in Kanawha County, because flood emergencies for the highest waters on the Elk in Clay since the Civil War in 1861. Downtown Clay underwater, pretty much according to the National Weather Service. Queen Shoals still 8 feet above flood stage. These crests will occur after midnight, then the waters will start down overnight. Kellyanne updates us first thing in the morning.
All right, thank you, and thanks for joining us this evening. The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon is coming up next.
And stay with WSAZ and WSAZ.com.